Aloha and welcome to Java. Thank you all very kindly for joining me. This is for Tuesday, February 27th, 2024. First, I would like to thank you all for your kind words. I just can't say how appreciative I am for you all. I'm just really humbled, so thank you all so much for that. With that, let's go into what's going on for today. Relatively quiet, eye in the storm type of day. We've got the MMRIs hovering right around 275. It's in high territory still, but the markets are deep in greed form still. So, as long as the dollar still maintains relative weakness and the 10-year yield along with it, we've got the stocks are showing in the red at the moment, but the futures are showing in the green. So, a little bit of a mixed board going neutral, still bullish territory. We've still got a greed over fear sentiment. And yesterday I had relatively down. I think the shorts won over for the most part, but then kind of a rally back. And we'll kind of continue through that today. So we don't have much more going on in the calendar. We've got our durable goods orders, and we'll be watching some of the earnings today. So for our earnings, be watching Lowe's. They basically, since they're home improvement supply, that'll kind of tell us how the real economy is going on behind the scenes as far as spending, retail, and construction. Norwegian cruise lines, I'll be watching for discretionary spending to see if people are slowing down with their travel. The problem is these earnings are both lagging indicators, but something that we'll be looking forward to today. So everyone really still looking forward to the GDP on Wednesday and the core PCE on Thursday. So today will kind of be a stock specific type of runner. So with that, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. The first is this was pulled directly from Fannie Mae's website, and they're talking about their credit risk transfer, that they partner with private sources of capital, money, to transfer the mortgage credit risk and develop broad and liquid markets to reduce taxpayer risk. What does this mean in reality? It means that they're the backstop for all of these loans for people that can't get loans through conventional banks. They're taking all of the high risk loans, rebundling them, and selling them to other banks. So they've already chosen which banks they're selling these to that will go down. So once these banks close, go bankrupt, then these loans that are terrible will resell on the market for pennies on the dollar. So while investors are losing the money in these mortgages that are going bad, they're basically repackaging them. This is a different version of a replay of 2008 coming out. So along with this, we've got Russia promising a symmetrical response if the West seizes assets. I'm bringing this up because they're talking about this more and more to take the money and send it to Ukraine. And now they're talking about sending actually people and troops from the West. A little more on that in a bit. So, commercial real estate in the United States are talking about the debt crisis, watching smaller and regional banks. So, this is what I was talking about. We've been talking about smaller regional banks for a while now, but they're finally at a position to where more weak ones will begin to fall. So I expect we will probably see more of these in the next week or two, if not before. So, along with the credit risk transfer that they are talking about, they're just weak in general. So, Ford Motor Car still halted their shipments of their popular electric vehicle, talking about over quality casts uncertainty for the brand, and they're talking about the Ford electric F-150 truck. So they put that on the chill for now. They won't be shipping any of those anytime soon. Really, what they want to do is clear out the backlog. So they spin this story so that people don't panic and the mainstream media doesn't get onto it. So we had a couple of things happen over in the Middle East. And the interesting part is it's two entirely conflicting stories whenever this happens. Kind of seems a little odd. So the Houthis are being accused of bombing the major fiber cable network lines that are under the ocean in the Red Sea. This is the major connection for communications for the area. And they kind of knew this would happen. So preemptively, they're putting out denying that they were the ones that blew the fiber lines. So mainstream media is still framing them. You're only going to see one side of this story in the West, and it's to make them look more evil, more reason for more war, more weapons. And we've got Macron saying from that France is going to be sending troops to Ukraine as well, possibly, not to rule that out. So more expanding war, talking about how the money comes back, the weapons, and that it's good for our GDP. So when we get our GDP numbers on Wednesday, I expect them to be just fine because we've got all of this massive production going into that. So I thought it was interesting. I want to go into the updates before I let you go. We've got Canada unveiling a law to force tech firms, so all of the larger thinking Google, Meta, Facebook, Amazon, and social medias to remove harmful, quote unquote, harmful content online. So Trudeau wants to take the job of parents away and decide what you're allowed to see or read online or through social media. So, as I was saying, he's under the guise that we need to keep the kids safe, and really that's the parents' job, or through devices or in other ways. But limiting what everybody can see is just a curtail on free speech, as we've seen before. So, right below this, we've got the Supreme Court in the United States talking about Republican laws, again, towards social media bias. But all they want to do is control what is coming out. They use the excuse whether it's election interference or whether it's artificial intelligence spinning things. They just want to have control. And then we've also got Meta unveiling teams that are specifically to combat disinformation and artificial intelligence harms in the European Union elections. So while this is a huge debate, um, what it boils down to is who is on that team that gets to decide what is seen, what is not, how it's worded, and the content that goes out. So I kind of am more to the side of, I, of course, prefer the liberty of being able to see the information and decide for myself. I think that people are kind of smarter than this and deserve to see it. So, with that, please like if you haven't yet. I wish you all a great trading day, wonderful day in general. Until I see you again, stay free.